Well, hello traders and investors, I'm L.A. Little, and this is your daily NeoTA wrap, where we take a look at these markets, and we do it from a neoclassical perspective. Each time we ask ourselves what happened today, what does it tell us about the coming ones? We do a show 4 times a week, every Monday through Thursday. It's broadcast at or before 10 o'clock Eastern Time, archived on YouTube. It's on the channel, L.A. Little. As far as what happened today, not what we were expecting. We got a decent-sized sell-off back the other way. Looked like last night we were probably going to climb a little bit higher. Tried, couldn't do it, gives it up. Intraday, it also was unable to hold a reversal bar intraday, which also was a bad sign. And if we look at these charts here in a second, we're going to see that we've actually got some decent damage and potentially a continuation to the downside. Overseas, a little bit weaker in the DAX and the CACs. The DAX had already shown us that it wanted to try to trade lower. It did. Dollar was up strong, actually finished off those highs. The euro was down almost 1% at one point, and the dollar actually kind of gave it all up. And Asia was up last night slightly with the Nikkei, with the Hang Seng, with the Shanghai, all of them, and tonight they look a little bit weaker here to get started. As far as what these markets look like, let's take a look at the charts. Here's the S&P 500. You got more volume. You go over the top, you go under the bottom. Normally I would look at that as not too bad of a thing, but the problem is you close at the bottom. That's a takeaway bar. That's also what is called a bearish engulfing in candlesticks. That is not a particularly good looking candle to certainly expect more up, shall we say. If we look at the NASDAQ composite, same thing. Now, the NASDAQ composite's even a little worse because not only do you have the takeaway bar, you've also got a failure at the highs. So you're coming up into the swing point high here. Let me get the right color. And as we come into that swing point high, right, we test over it, right, close back up underneath it. So that's a test failure there, right, at that high. So this high tested, fails. It does do more volume as it pushes into it. That's the one caveat that's positive, but it did fail. Tells me it probably is going to come back up there, but we could certainly, given the takeaway bar, we could certainly see some downside first. And remember, we got Draghi tomorrow and the ECB decision. Same thing here on the NDX, top 47.37. You do 47.39, so you go over it, back under it. You have a little bit more volume. Same scenario, takeaway bar, bearish engulfing. Another one here, the Russell, same thing. Test the top again. That's four bars at the top. You come off, bearish engulfing, takeaway bar, more than a takeaway bar. This one also looks like it's going to try to trade lower. And this one in particular does because you actually had less volume than you did 2 bars back. So if I look at the indexes, it doesn't look to me like they're going to get up and try to run higher tomorrow. And we thought that there could be a sell the news. Well, the sell the news actually looked like it started to kick in tonight. We look over in Europe. The German DAX comes down, volume's trailing off. Still have a little bit more volume as you're coming in. That looks like it can come in a little bit farther. Yeah, it does. Now, here's the same scenario that we just saw in our markets tonight. Yesterday, you actually had the exact same scenario here, right? Bearish engulfing, takeaway bar, more volume on the volume, right? And then you get another day down. That's the way ours looks tonight. If you look at the CACs, and if you see it just came off a little bit. It had failed at the high again, and that one comes off a little bit more volume one more time. So Europe to me looks like it's not quite done on the downside. U.S. markets look like they're not at all done on the downside. And if we go over to what's really going to be the mover tomorrow, it's the currencies. We'll start with the dollar because this is where everything's going to be. Dollar goes up, tests a high. It's kind of hard to read these because you don't have great volume numbers here, but you actually did slightly more volume, at least on the dollar UUP ETF. If you go over and look at the FXE came down, tested the lows, 740 there, you did 736, you did almost the same amount of volume. You test the lows, you flip back around. Note that you've got 4 higher, closing on the highs now, 4 out of 5 days here at the lows. Matter of fact, if you take it back to these dojis, you can go back all the way to here, November 17th. Almost every one of these are either a doji or close at the highs, with the exception of 2 bars. So 3, 6, 8, you got 9 out of 11 bars. The buyers were stronger or as strong at the close. This euro looks like it's ready to bounce, and it's a one-sided trade. Everybody's short the euro. Same thing here with the FXY. This one's been down here wallowing around trying to go lower. Can't go lower. This one's going to try to bounce as well. If those are bouncing, dollar's going to pull back. If that's true, commodities are going to try to push up. That's probably going to put more pressure on Europe. What it does to the U.S. is a wild card. If I'm looking at just the neoclassical reads tonight, at least tomorrow, it says it's going to try to trade down. Big news tomorrow, of course, is Draghi. We actually had Yellen speak today. We've had speakers all week, but of course Yellen being the most important. She pretty much cemented the idea that there is going to be a rate hike 2 weeks from now. So you have the dollar wanting to go higher. Draghi's going to do his thing tomorrow. It looks to me, just looking at the charts, that he's going to under-deliver. The euro is going to trade higher as a result, and that's going to put some more pressure on the European markets. What it does to the U.S. markets, dollar coming in, that's probably going to be a welcome relief to the U.S. markets. We'll see how it actually trades. That's where we're at tonight. That's how it looks. Last night didn't get the call right. We'll see if it works out tomorrow. Thanks for joining in. Have a great one. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Good night.